So today the UDG, together with other organizations, is launching an open campaign to put people firmly back into the focus of planning, urban design and engineering. Urban design is obviously something we all care for, and it is something that loads of professions need to work together to make work. We started thinking about it again because recently it was 25 years since the seminal work of Francis Tibbalds was published, Making People-Friendly Towns. A lot of the principles, actually probably all of the principles that he set out in that book are still relevant today. I would like to say, in a way, that they are not relevant anymore because that means we have achieved this vision. But unfortunately, we are far from it. And I don't know what your view is, but I have a feeling that recently it's going downhill again. And I think it is time that we focus again on the people, putting people back into planning, urban design and engineering, and really finding ways, and those 10 principles again, that we all can agree to and that we can all push forward with. I like to think that when we don't achieve people-friendly places, it's not because we don't like other people, but it is actually because of red tapes, processes. It might be because we don't want to challenge established regulations or established ways of doing things, or maybe people just take the easy route. I think the easy route should be to create people-friendly places, and everything else should be made difficult. So I think this campaign is really a chance for all of us to think together and work together to find ways of producing people-friendly places, finding the processes, finding the barriers that stop us doing that. Not everyone might have the same definition of what people-friendly means. If I talk to highway colleagues, they might think that actually keeping a person safe is the highest priority, with guardrails, segregation, but that's not what I believe is people-friendly. So I think there's a debate around what does people-friendly mean, and Francis Tibbalds has set out principles already, and I think looking at them again and maybe elaborating on them is a good opportunity, because the world has changed. And there are new themes like health and well-being, which weren't quite as important at the time, although he talked a lot about cars and air quality and so on, so it was already in there. But I think there's another question also, who are those people? And that's the topic of tonight, really, because it's not just one people, there are loads of different people. Tim Farrow, in 1991, kind of made this illustration, and it is a really good way to communicate all the different stakeholders that have an interest in our streets, all their different needs and their different abilities. And it also illustrates how complex it is what we are trying to achieve. So let's just take, quickly, children, for example. We all know, and there's loads of research, that it's really important for children to move safely and also to a certain extent independently around our neighborhoods. It's not only important for children, I think it's also important for our society that we do see children moving around our public realm safely. But how often do we make children the key stakeholders in our designs, in our planning decisions, and in our engineering decisions? Not that often. At least I don't come across it that often, that I sit around a table with my colleagues and say, like, what would a 12-year-old child think about this? Let's make the decision to focus on them. Because maybe if a 12-year-old child feels comfortable, maybe everyone else feels comfortable. So let's kind of think about what would a perfectly child-friendly environment be today. On the other spectrum, the elderly people. We know there's a growing population of old people. We all know that we need to accommodate for them. And I hope not just accommodate in terms of building nice old people's care homes, etc., but actually enabling them to continue play a part in our society, in our communities, and still enjoy the public realm. And that might be by regular places to sit, environments that are dementia-friendly, or kind of having local shops and interaction. So that's something else we need to think about. So thinking about all the different people, and I'm sure we'll hear much more about it in a minute, is really essential. And they sometimes wonder why we are not achieving what we should be achieving. Because we have legislation, we have government guidance, And we have also local guidance and regulations that all often say really useful things that are supporting people-friendly places. The Equalities Act is, and there are people in the room who know much more about this than I do, but as I understand it, it's designed to make sure that we treat people equal, that we focus on their needs, their particular needs, and that we take that serious. And a lot of those characteristics that are protected have a direct influence onto the public realm, on the places we build. And it's not only the kind of the physical, the racial, but also the socioeconomic qualities. I mean, we've all heard about the second entrance to apartment blocks for affordable homes. That's not people-friendly. We have all heard about streets that are not accessible for people with kind of visual impairment. So exactly, that's not people-friendly. So we need to take all of that on board. And there are legislations to help us, but it doesn't seem to kind of quite work. Also, the MPPF says some good things that should actually support what we want to do. But again, is it used? Government guidance on streets, actually, it's a people-first hierarchy. So why does it not translate on the ground? Why is it not being... Why are the schemes we are seeing coming out of the ground are not like that? And I think it's not all negative. There are a lot of really good schemes, which we have seen in recent years. But I think mostly outside of the bigger cities, it is looking a little bit more mediocre, I would say. So I think we still have a very long way to go. So the UDG, together with the other supporting groups, we really think it is time, yet again, to focus on people, focus on making people-friendly places. And this campaign is an open campaign. It isn't owned by anyone in particular. We want as many supporters as possible. We want universities to engage. We want interest groups to engage, individuals to engage, and really kind of start the debate, have activities, do research. There's a website where you can kind of post blogs, where you can engage in discussions, where you can tell people, oh, we have set up this activity and this event, please come along. So I think tonight we are asking you to support this, to take part in it, and take a lead for 2019 to put people firmly back into the discussion of planning, urban design and engineering. Thank you very much.